communicate to you this morning who God is, and what God has said. How important it is to fear God, to honor God, to worship God, to serve God, okay? To have respect for God's people, okay? Because God's jealous over his people, God's also jealous over his son. Okay? Over his son. Now, I'll give you a little background on who God is this morning. God is omnipotent, all-powerful. God is omniscient. He knows everything. God is omnibenevolent. He's loving and kind and merciful and gracious, right? He's all those kind of things. He wants to help mankind. God is omnipresent. He's everywhere. He's sovereign. He's supreme. He is the supreme Lord of the universe. He's transcendent above all creation. He's immanent, active in the world, and cares for the world. He's immutable, complete, and perfect. He's infinite. He is unlimited. He's eternal, not limited to time and space, no beginning, no end. He's merciful, withholding what we deserve. He's gracious, giving to us what we don't deserve, right? In Isaiah chapter 6, verse 3, they proclaim, holy, holy, holy. You have the picture of the seraphim, two angels covering their feet, two covering their face as they're flying, and they're saying, holy, holy, holy. Isaiah says, I'm a man of unclean lips. Right? I ain't got no business being here. This is blowing my mind. I'm scared to death. I'm in the presence of God. That's how awesome that was. And so mankind, in man's own way, brings down who God is, and we try to make God anything and everything that we want to make God, but that's not who God is. Okay? And so you, to fully appreciate Christmas and the purpose for Christmas and what Christmas brings about, you must have a right attitude toward who God is. Who God is. God is one, yet in three persons. He is spirit. They that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. He is the creator, in the beginning, God. Okay? So there's nobody above God. How can we tell God what to do? How can we tell God how he ought to run his universe? How can we tell God, how can the clay tell the potter anything? Right? And say, God, you got this all wrong. You got this marriage thing all wrong. You got this gender thing all wrong. You got this church thing all wrong. You got all these things all wrong. Well, we can't do that. We have to understand that God is holy, 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 and that we need to serve him, and that God is a jealous God. Deuteronomy 6, 4 and 5 says, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Okay? And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. So everything you've got needs to be directed toward the Lord. He needs to be first. He must be first to serve him, to live for him, to not be fake, to not be religious, not to be following denominations, not to be doing those kind of things, but to give him all. Now, God's dealing with Israel when he gives them in Deuteronomy. That's the Pentateuch, five first books of Moses. And he's telling them this. Why is he telling them how they should live? Why is he telling them the way they should go? Because he understands what's in the world. He knows there's paganism in the world. He knows there's gross immorality in the world. He wants to protect them. He wants to save them. And so if you will love me, if you will serve me, I will protect you. But if you don't, then I'm going to have to treat you like I'm going to treat the rest. Now, all these things we think about God, his mercy and his grace and his love and his long-suffering and his patience and his kindness, all are true. But God is also just. And God